When did you start kind of thinking that this wasn't going to happen, and when did you fully find out?
I figured everything was up in the air as soon as they said no fans. And then as soon as I heard about Rudy Gobert, I said there's no way that anyone can have a tournament. But that's my personal opinion. And then, I don't know, about 8:30 this morning, 8:30, I got a call, and then I got an emergency phone call from the NABC. And then it was pretty clear that it wasn't going to happen.
What do you think the future is for the NCAA tournament?
There's intelligent people that have those responsibilities, and I know they're Dan Gavitt and his crew. They're working round the clock to do what's right for people, not what's right for college basketball. And I have full trust that they'll make the right decisions.
Commissioner Sankey said he hadn't got to talk to all the coaches. Did he talk to you? And if
Yeah.
so, just what kind of conversation was that like?
He was embarrassed that he had to make a decision that impacts our teams, our players, because he understands the journey that goes on since sometime in August when we meet for the first time and you start lifting weights and you start conditioning and then individual instruction and then the 7 days a week of, I get it that they get a day off, but as coaches and players, it's an unbelievable commitment that's made to have the opportunity to compete at this time of year. And having to make that decision was really hard for him because he's all in about the student athletes and their journey. But it was the right decision to make. And I let him know that I was really proud that he took his position in leadership and was willing to make this decision.
Frank, got a bigger picture. If you guys do get a bid or an invite to the NIT, will you accept it? And what's the plan there? If they have the NIT.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously I'm not on the NCAA selection committee. The decisions as to who's in and who's out had not been made. I'm not as optimistic as I am about everything in my life. I'm not optimistic to think that we're a shoo-in for the NCAA tournament. I get it. That's why we were so excited about coming to compete here. We knew we were good enough to beat Kentucky, which means you're good enough to line up and play anybody. And not having that opportunity kind of leaves a lot of unknown out there. And what we have to figure out now is if somebody wants us to play in their event. And anyone gives us the opportunity, we'll play, but that's assuming once those decisions are made, then we have to make decisions as to if we want to expose our athletes and our school personnel. It's not just being at the event, it's being away from our families. In these times of it's unknown. It's not an earthquake, it's not a hurricane, it's not a tornado. It's unknown. Unless someone is old enough to understand how some of these other diseases that have gone on in our lifetime have been managed. Because I heard of the other ones, SARS and H1N1, whatever it was called, and they were all serious. But I don't remember us being in the uproar that we're in right now. So there's an unbelievable unknown, and anytime there's unknown, it's rather be safe than sorry.
As the head coach of over a dozen young men, how do you address them? How did you address them this morning?
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. We're going to meet when we get back on campus. I've been, like I told you, so 8 o'clock this morning. It's been phone call after phone call. Our staff's been dealing with our players and obviously their families. When we get back to campus, I'm going to meet with them and just kind of explain everything from our journey to where we're at as a team to what's in front of us, and then the fact that keep them humble. They're kids. They think the world revolves around basketball and their stats and making the NBA. Keep them humble to understand that moments like this should make you understand that the score of a game is irrelevant when real life hits you in the face. And we're in a difficult moment right now from the unknown. We don't know. I don't have an answer for them because I've lived a hurricane, so I got an idea how to manage post-hurricanes. but there's so much unknown right now that there's only so much I can say in respect to this other stuff. But just make sure we educate them best we can for what's in front of us and go from there.
Some people have hypothesized maybe they try to move things back. I mean, would that be feasible to try and play if you don't have 4 weeks, 6 weeks of games to just suddenly come back and play postseasons? Is that doable?
If they can figure it out, why not? You know, why not wait till we pass this immediate hit that we're getting hit with? I'm not a big ultimatum guy. I don't think life is full of ultimatums other than if we're born, we're going to come. We all have an end date. But I'm not big on ultimatums on everything else. I'm big on making decisions. I'm big to not run away from decisions. But when you don't know, why make ultimatum? Why make a final decision on something that we don't know if 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now can change? Now, obviously, putting an NCAA tournament together, putting an SEC tournament together, involves a lot of moving parts. It's not just like, hey, let's meet at the corner and play. It's complicated. But if they can figure it out, why not? You know, push it back to June and figure something out in June. My heart goes out to seniors because they don't get to do this ever again. And I know the sacrifice that they put in. And so if it can be done, why not, Heath? But at the same time, we got to do what's right. And what's right is not always what's convenient.
What's the plan for the guys once you get back to campus and the school's canceled at the end of next week? Do you keep them here? Do you give them some time off?
Yeah, that's. I was just on the phone with Ray Tanner on the way down. I got to meet with them obviously today about all this other stuff, and then I got to have better clarity. My mind's been all into playing basketball, and over the last 36 hours, I've started to engage thoughts and different things, and I'm not big on just talking to talk with them. I want to give them clear direction, but I'm sure campus is closed. Those that want to go home, they're going to be given the opportunity to go home, and that's the way it should be.
I guess recruiting on off-site stuff has been canceled through March 30th. How do you guys kind of go about that now that I guess AAU's a couple weeks away?
Yeah, I know as the NABC, I know we took a stance on that. I'll let the NABC make the announcement. We took a stance on that earlier today in a big conference call that we had. I'm not into trying to break stories. I'll let the organization do their job there. But I know that, once again, we're not going to make definite ultimatums. But for the near future, we got to make sure that, we don't expose coaches to get on planes, hotels, get around people, because we don't know right now. And the same thing with the student athletes and their families. We can't expect them to have to travel and get on airplanes, and it just doesn't make any sense right now. All that's irrelevant. So we'll reconvene sometime in early April and come up with a more educated opinion based on the facts that we get to learn here over the next couple of weeks.
Plan to be just a phone recruit for now?
Yeah, phones obviously. Yeah, phones are open, and joking with some of the coaches that are staying at this hotel this morning from the other schools, I told them in a joking manner, but thought about it. If we have to shut down recruiting the whole spring, it's going to be hard to do our jobs, to evaluate, to get the right people. Why not give the seniors another year? Because this is just a crazy circumstance. So why not tell Micaiah Henry and Mike Kotsar, if you want it, you have the ability to play a fifth year, since we all dealt with this. That way we can keep our rosters at 13 and consistencies with who we bring in.
If this turns out to be the last ride for you guys for this team, what will you think of when you think of the 2020 team?
Winners. It's never, that's why I joked with you guys that this has been interesting since I was standing at this same hotel trying to get out of here last Saturday, and knowing that we had lost and ruined an opportunity to put us in a real good place for postseason play. That's how close we were and still are. to once again finish in the upper half of the league, and doing it with 9 of our top 10 being freshmen or sophomores. Every one of our point guards are a freshman. You know, 2 dynamic sophomores in AJ and Keyshawn that have both grown tremendously. Knowing how well we've played, having Justin back, knowing how hard he fought to come back sooner than probably most people would have, to give us a chance to win and compete. That's what those kids are about, and we're going to be in the postseason. It's not a question of yes or no. It would have been one tournament or the other, and not having that opportunity to be around this team because of the way they handled everything, the fact that we accomplished some of the things that we did, leaves a void. Because when you're in a race, you want to run to the end. You don't want to stop with a mile to go. And unfortunately, if this stops the way it did, we couldn't get to the end.
A little off topic, but have you talked to AJ at all about what his next steps are and kind of
Nah, Colin. He's been all wrapped up in helping us win games, and his family's unbelievable when it comes to that. They're awesome. My whole opinion with him, with Shendarius, with anyone else, it's PJ. Don't worry about April and January and February. Worry about April when April gets here. So if this is the end for this season, then those are conversations that'll start.
The NABC just announced the indefinite suspension of recruiting.
They did?
They did.
There you go. I knew it. I'm not into leaking, you know. It's not my deal. But if they announced it, then, you know, that's I know that's a stance that all us coaches on that board, whether it's Cal or Hugs or Mike Bray, all of us, it was unanimous. It's not just the athletes that we're trying to recruit. We're husbands and fathers. Some of us still have our parents. Having us traveling around in difficult times. I've got a 12-year-old son at home that's like, Dad, what's going on? I've got a teenage daughter that's like, Dad, I don't want to go to school. And it's a big responsibility of mine, not just to lead the kids in the locker room, but to lead the kids in my home. And you know, my wife's mom's in New York. She's physically not what she used to be after fighting cancer. You know, my mother's in Miami, New York, Miami, a lot of international, a lot of people from all over the place. My mom has respiratory issues, and she's in her 70s. So we need to take care of our people too. We always are running around taking care of everyone else's families. As coaches, we have to take care of ourselves and take care of our families too.